Joe Mixon returns. Laremy Tunsil speaks, and the Texans will be without a couple of important pieces. Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time.
All right, it was a big news day today for the Texans. Before we get into all the stuff that happened at practice, let's hear from Laremy Tunsil. Laremy Tunsil met with the media. He answered a couple of questions, including a question about his comments that went viral about the refs kind of trying to set an example. I asked him about that. Stutz asked him if the problems were fixed. Let's hear what Laremy Tunsil had to say during media availability earlier today.
The biggest thing as an offense that we need to do is turn this around. Just be on the details. Just fix the little mistakes that we have and just keep it rolling. It's just small details. We got to be on the details. We got to iron things out. We all got to be on the same page. And once we on the same page, everything will be smooth.
Laremy, how do you block out all of the outside noise, especially for the people who don't know actually what's going on when it comes to some of those pre-snap penalties and things like that?
I mean, that's what comes with it. That's what comes with the game. You know, you got the outside people who really doesn't know as much about the game, but it's okay. It's, we just got to keep working, fix the details, be on our assignments. Next play mentality, no matter what happens. Pre-snap penalties, illegal formations, no matter what happens, it's next play mentality. We're trying to highlight the details.
You feel like you guys have got on the details on those penalties?
We have got on the details. I mean, it's something that we've been honing in since week one, since we always get pre-snap penalties, illegal formations, especially since the first game, Ravens and Chiefs, when they was doing illegal formations. We always try to be on the same page with the refs, what they're looking for. Do they want us to break the center's hip or they want us to line up on a guard? It's a clear-cut communication with the refs to be the best thing for us. And once we get that,
there was a quote about maybe an example being made or, the refs not being consistent. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Inconsistency with the calls, yes, but as long as us and the refs is on the same page, that's the best thing for us. We can come up to the refs before the game, in the middle of the game, and we can ask them like, "Yo, what are you looking for?" We want to make sure we're on the same page with you before you have to throw this way.
Let's see, Bobby Slower said that it's time to crank up the running game. Win number 28 at the huddle today. What did that do for you guys?
Some juice. Something we've been looking for a long time.
All right, there you go. That was Laremy Tunsil with the media. Look, I don't know. There's Aaron wanted to ask him about Joe Mixon returning and stuff, and you could tell he wanted to get that one in. I don't know if it was kind of like a live vest or something like that. I don't know, but it's going to probably crank up a little bit more if they don't get it right against Jacksonville. I think Tunsil's smart enough to understand that. I will say that the thing that Tunsil probably doesn't want to do right now, and he kind of got an assist on it, is put himself against fans and act as if fans, they just don't know what's going on. First of all, I don't know that that's really true. You understand communication. A lot of times the flag could potentially just be thrown on 78, and it's a matter of the center not snapping at the ball when you want whatever. I don't think that's the case. I think Laremy Tunsil is a guy that gets penalized, but I don't think it's doing him any favors to even try to pit or put him against the fans. I don't think that's in Laremy Tunsil's best interest at this point. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. If it doesn't happen on Sunday, then maybe it cranks up a little bit. Interesting to hear about communicating with the refs and stuff. Still kind of a different message than what D'Amico said, but we'll see how Tunsil performs, and we'll see how that is covered. I'm not really a beat writer. I am a digital beat guy, which means I go out there, I get information, I try to ask the right questions, and then with the radio background and everything, I present it in that type of format. I'm not on the beat. So I feel that, me and Stutz are there. I think the questions were asked, but I don't know how that quote is put out there and not asked about earlier today. Like if I were a beat guy and I didn't have a quote from an offensive lineman until today, I would feel pretty weird about that. That would actually that would actually feel pretty weird. But that's what we heard from Laremy Tunsil. We'll see what happens. The fan base doesn't seem to be overly thrilled with what Laremy Tunsil is doing right now. So we'll see how that goes. So that was that. We also had the return of Joe Mixon. This was kind of surprising. Practice was at NRG. Joe Mixon, as soon as we walked out of the tunnel, it was brief media availability. Joe Mixon was on the field. You can see him moving around. If y'all want to be like experts, Joe Mixon, look at Laremy Tunsil. Looks like a guy that's ready to block, too, if we're just judging what's on the field. But you got Joe Mixon out there getting some work in. He wants to go. You can tell. No extra tape on the ankle. Moving around, hopping. We'll see what Joe Mixon can provide. But that was a massive, pleasant surprise today, getting to see Joe Mixon out there. Now, it's official that there will be no Dameon Pierce. And if you watch this channel, you knew that all week that Dameon Pierce would not play. So there's no Dameon Pierce. There's also going to be no Tank Dell. So they'll be without Dell and Pierce. We'll get into what they do for Dell, but Mr. McLean, Swarm in the super chat.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm says it's a huge prove-it game for this secondary and O-line this week. Yeah, and the secondary is going to be missing a very important piece too. We'll get into what that means for the secondary, but the O-line for sure. The O-line is going to have to perform at a higher level, or else it's really going to it's going to be hard to go up there and be as confident if this O-line doesn't perform at a high level. I do think Joe Mixon makes it better. I know there's always like a notion that, you need a good offensive lineman to make the running back, and no running back could run behind this offensive line. I think Joe Mixon makes the offensive line better. So I think that kind of helps. I also think it helps with the Tank Dell thing. There's been there's questions about John Mechie and stuff. I think Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz, those are the guys that you look at to replace the Tank Dell production. And quite frankly, there hasn't been a ton of Tank Dell production this year. So I would look to those guys for that. Now the defensive issue that the Texans may have. Let's look at Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward not going to play. We saw Jimmy Ward practice on Thursday. He is not going to play on Sunday, and this is kind of what we expect from Jimmy Ward. We don't, the durability has been an issue. I mean, when you're as old as Jimmy Ward is in football years, that's kind of a concern. Now, there is no Evan Ingram, which we found out from the Jags. But how do they replace Jimmy Ward? That'll be interesting. It'll really be interesting if they have to move Petrie back to traditional safety, because they've already shown you that's not what they want to do. And then I think we're talking 3 traditional linebackers, and the defense that we've seen so far this year, I think it completely shifts. So I think there's a potential snowball effect with the Jimmy Ward thing. Jacksonville, though, they want to get rid of the rock quick with Trevor Lawrence, which might actually play to the strengths of the Texans. And when he holds on to it, I think the D-line probably won't have too much of a problem getting to him and making Trevor Lawrence feel some pressure. Let's hear from Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden, he's a guy who's stepped up this year. And he made the squad. He fought to make the squad. Give me the thumbs up. Make sure y'all can hear this. This is Aiden Hutchinson talking about how he feels about his ability or lack thereof to fill in for Tank Dell.
How are you feeling your personal game now as compared to, say, last year?
I definitely say I'm a lot more confident. Really just playing a lot faster, believing in myself. Knowing that I can actually go out there and make plays.
What was the main goal? I know you talked about working on some things. What were the main things that you worked on?
Yeah, really just trying to get more precise with just my footing. Just trying to get laterally more quicker, having a little bit more quick twitch in some of my releases and just my routes in general. And then also just really kind of the whole route tree, just working on everything.
My bad. I said Aiden Hutchinson. That's wishful thinking. Every time the Jags play, I'm always saying, like, thank God they didn't take Aiden Hutchinson. I know it's a Xavier, but yeah, I did say Aiden. That's mainly because I always talk about Aiden Hutchinson whenever I'm talking about the Jags. I think I was actually just on the phone with someone talking about that. Take it away, Xavier. # not Aiden.
Working on my feet, working on my body language, my takeoffs, and really just trying to put that all together.
The next man up is kind of the cliche in the NFL. If Tank can't go, are you confident that you can step it up and provide the squad with what they need from you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you never want to see if Tank can't go. You never want to see that happen. But I think everybody in here is ready if that was to happen. And I'm certainly ready too.
Are you going to see Iowa State this weekend? Or?
Yeah, I'm going to see him actually right now.
Okay.
I won't be able to go to the game though. It's at 6, and we're going to be here.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I won't. But I'm excited.
Like the way things are going right now?
Yeah, I do. Hey, what is it? 4-0 or 3-0?
Yeah, unbeaten.
Yeah, man, that's nice.
Defense is playing nice.
I
appreciate you, man.
All right, there you go. Yeah, they are. They are playing good, and U of H is not. So, they should remain unbeaten. Yesterday we did not. We had the technical difficulties, but I want to play this for y'all because y'all have probably seen it if you follow me or subscribe to the channel or whatever. But Cade Stover is one of my favorite dudes. I just think he's a hardo, and I think he's one of those guys that once he gets in the weight room after this year, I think you're gonna see a completely different guy. I think he's figuring out how to block. He's figuring out some stuff. But I think he's going to be a good player. I think he's got a good mindset, and I think a lot of you fans. And myself as well. I'm not trying to separate myself from y'all. I think that's weird when, people that cover the squad try to separate themselves from fans, because I think it's the most important relationship you can have. Along with, players is cool, but the fans are the ones that, they're going to be here forever. But a lot of y'all probably still pretty pissed off about the Minnesota game. Some of y'all just have already moved on. It's been a while, but I think it's funny when you kind of, hear this, next game, and it's on to Jacksonville and stuff. As a fan, sometimes you're like, man, like I'm pissed off. I didn't want to go to work the next day. I didn't want to watch Sports Center. Hell, I didn't even want to turn on Monday Night Football. And you know what? The next day, I didn't want to do it either. I think Cade Stover can kind of relate. And that's why Cade Stover is kind of a fan favorite. Here is Cade Stover, and you can tell he's just look at that face. You can just tell he's kind of pissed off by what his performance was. I like this young man a lot. Here is him talking about bouncing back from what went down in Minnesota.
The Minnesota game. What's your overall assessment of personal performance and team performance in that game?
Personal performance was very poor that game. Just poor. Nothing else to say about my performance. Not good. But then again, as a team, that's behind us now. We're on the next one. So we're excited to have a good week of practice so far.
You excited? You confident in being able to bounce back and correct whatever the reasons were?
Yeah, that's what this game. I think you can play this game for 50 years, and you're never going to walk off the field and be like, that was perfect. So that's part of it. Just being able to how we respond this week.
Nico said different players handle losses differently. I've been kind of interested in how kind of CJ handles it, one Buckeye, and then Nick Bosa, it seems like he likes to talk about it for like 3 days or something, say he wants to feel the loss. Do you think it's important to feel it a little bit or move on or bounce it out?
I don't know. I have a hard time moving on just because, one, I'm not I'm just not really used to it. That's for sure. And when you play like that, and you don't play the way you want to play, especially personally, like you know you're better than that. You know better than that. So just to be able to get back on the field always helps.
What do you think is the most important? The blocking or just receiving? What would you say you need to work on most?
Just getting your feet in the ground. Just know, tough environment, weird. First time for me going to a place like that, so it's just different, just learning. Still young, still learning, but I know that. It's going to get fixed.
Who are your biggest critics? Like when you have a bad game, and who are the ones that lift you up the most?
I think I'm definitely the worst critic of it. There's no doubt. Like
you got family that has to calm you down or something.
Yeah,
like
I know. Like a lot of times they don't really even have to. I'm already pretty worked up enough about anything that goes wrong. So it's just kind of how it's always been. A lot of times just get out of my own head.
All right, there you go. So here is the here's the thing about Cade Stover, and I kind of went back and like to look at this type of stuff, and I agree it is a long week after a loss. Yo says nobody wants to talk about the game, but the media keeps asking. It's the only time we talk to them a lot of times, So they want to move on, but you want to. It's kind of a snowball effect. So this was the first time that Laremy Tunsil has spoken, and he doesn't even speak every week. And probably should, but he doesn't get whatever. But this is the only time that you get to talk to him a lot of times. So you're kind of putting a bow on it. So yeah, that is true, Yo. I don't know if you're meat watching or just like an observation, kind of kidding around, but yeah, that is very, very true. I decided to look up like Cade Stover, and I saw that Cade Stover. We just heard him say, I'm not used to it. And you kind of laugh a little bit, but then you go back and look. Okay, the guy went to Ohio State. So what did he lose? Like 4 games, 5 his entire time at Ohio State. Around that. Then I looked at his high school. So Mansfield, Ohio. He was named Ohio's Mr. Football and the Ohio Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior. He rushed for 1,477 yards and 17 touchdowns on offense. This is per his Wikipedia page. Recorded 163 tackles and 4 interceptions on defense. And he also set Lexington's all-time scoring record in basketball. Was rated a 4-star recruit, committed to play college football at Ohio State over offers from Michigan, Oklahoma, Penn State, Texas, and Wisconsin. So, yeah, I would say he's probably right when he says that he's not really used to it. So, yeah, it's cool to see how he said that. Yo said he was just kidding. No kidding around. I didn't watch or listen to sports. Oh, so you're one of those guys, you avoid it because you don't want to think about it. I feel that, man. That is one of the worst feelings. Like, and you really just, man, and especially it almost got it. It's almost good though. I'm assuming that most of y'all are Texans fans or are fans of someone. If you're in this channel, or maybe you're just trying to get the pulse of the Texans. But it's almost a good feeling to have back, because whenever the Texans would suck, like we're so bad 2-3 years ago, like the POS, Jack Easterby, Bill O'Brien, go good 20-22. It was almost just like you were numb to it. Like it was just almost like you almost felt like you were torturing yourself watching. And then there were even times where you almost wanted them to lose for the betterment of the franchise. And it's just like, man, this sucks. So the feeling of feeling it's probably actually kind of a welcome feeling because it went away for so long. But yeah, I feel you on that. I think a lot of people can feel you. Who's going to step up like Noah did last year? I don't know. I think they're going to use Mixon, and I think they're going to use Dalton Schultz a little bit more. That's what I would say. For sure. G Texans Talk says, saw me at Wingstop. Yes, you did, my friend. Shout out to my man at Wingstop. Man, you know the thing about Wingstop I like the soda joint where you can get like 200 sodas. Y'all know that red soda fountain that has like Powerade Zero. You can mix the Powerade grape and red and orange and all that. That is the dopest soda thing. But I saw you in line at Wingstop. I thought I was going to go in and out. And 2 minutes later, I was like, man, I got to get my daughter out of the car. So, yeah, I had the AC going though. But, yeah, shout out to you, my friend. Do you this is a good question from Rich Boy. And we usually get kind of looser behind the scenes on Fridays, especially since the SNL. Myself and Cody Stutes, if y'all haven't subscribed to that, do so on. Even if you're just a YouTuber, do me a favor and go subscribe to me and Stutes on the audio format on any of your podcast formats. I don't even know if it benefits us or not, but just do it. Rich Boy J says, as a content creator, do you notice any drop in viewership the few days after a loss? I'd be avoiding all sports stuff during that period. LOL. It kind of depends. Like I do think that the wins are typically more exciting. I think that's the case even like in the radio days, like Reaction Monday. I think if there's like a passionate loss, I think it's fine. I just think you have to do it right. I think you have to present it right and just be sure to cover all bases. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes there's a drop, not as much as you would think. But yeah, like after wins, like big wins, like Cincinnati last year, or I'm sure after Monday night, after the Cowboys this year and stuff like that, it goes up. But it's not like it's not a big loss. It's not like where there's no asses in seats or anything like that. I think it's a little bit easier to get wrong with. That Coca-Cola freestyle machine is elite, dude. It's so nasty, dude. Like, and they got like Dr. Pepper vanilla and all that. Man, why does everybody not have that? That is like the only bad thing about it, I guess, is that if it's like a long line and it's 6 deep, like it's sometimes you like when you're at like a traditional soda fountain, and this is the kind of stuff I get on when I'm on that Friday lettuce. So you just got to bear with me. But when you get in like a normal soda fountain line, it's like, man, speed it up, dude. Like, you know what you're doing here. And you're almost just like not like in a big thing, but man, you're getting the Dr. Pepper, you're getting the root beer. You might mix a little bit. You might put some Fanta in here and figure that out. But when you're in that one, man, shoot, it's like an airport line because there's so many options. Like you might go up there wanting a Dr. Pepper. All of a sudden they got like Dr. Pepper Zero Cherry. So, I mean, you could be in that line for like 10 minutes if you're 6 deep. Really crazy. Scott D, shout out to you. That is an impressive beard, my friend. The Native American in me will not let me grow a beard. I just get the peach fudge. I really appreciate you and Stu's interviews with the players today. Yes, the hard questions I want to ask, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, Tunsil's getting like, I don't know. Tunsil's Tunsil. But yeah, that's what that is. Strawberry root beer. That's nuts right there. Louisiana rub at pot. Yeah, at Wingstop. Wingstop's not as consistent though, man. That's the one complaint. I did try the chili wings at Atomic Wings, which are good. Just takes a while, man. If they could get those quick, that'll be fine. Please tell me we won't have Danielle Hunter playing nose tackle this week. Why'd we do it versus the Vikings? I mean, when you say nose tackle, do you mean just like lining him up inside? I mean, it's not like they had Danielle Hunter over the center the whole time. I think they kind of got a little bit exotic. There'll be times where they line Will or Danielle or Nico Autry when he comes back over center. But I mean, like, I don't think he's really necessarily playing nose tackle. But speaking of him, let's hear from Danielle Hunter. Always serious, always intense, always professional. Here's Danielle Hunter coming off the loss to his former team and the return home against the Jags. Take it away, Danielle.
What stands out to you about the quarterback?
Good quarterback. He makes plays with his legs, his arms. A good offensive line, to protect him, and he has a good running back. So good overall offense. That's what we've seen. The record might not show, but it's a good football team.
They've always said Trevor has a quick release. How fast do you have to make it happen sometimes against quarterbacks like that?
When it comes to quarterbacks like that, I feel like the back end and the front end, we have to work together in order to make him hold the ball. So at the end of the day, if we want to make him throw the ball, we got to stop the run first.
We'll say that you all are so close. I think that you and him are leading the league as far as pressures is concerned. And, what do you think it's going to take in order to turn those pressures into sacks? That you all are almost there.
I mean, like I've been telling him, I said, keep chopping wood. The more pressures you have, the more sacks you have. So I've never seen where like a person has a lot of pressures and never had a lot of sacks. So I just told him, keep chopping wood, keep working on his craft. Not just him, but us as a room. We're getting back here, we just gotta finish.
You need to even itself out, right?
Yeah.
And the interior guys, a fair amount of sacks for the interior D tackles, and then Tim off the bench with a couple of sacks. How much are you seeing the push that you guys are getting, that it's constricting things in the middle and that they're able to get loose?
I feel like that is because we're all working together. The edge guys are setting the pressure on the edge, and the guys are coming up middle with their push. So, if you got guys coming off the edge, the quarterback has no other choice but to step over into the D tackles. And 4 equals 1. That's what we've been practicing, and that's what we've been preaching.
Nico said that they're better than their record is. Is that what you see when you look at the tape?
This is the NFL. Every team's great. Every team's a good team. So, you go out there and play them just like any other team.
There you go. That's Danielle Hunter. Game face from him. Steve P asks, long time, first time, midday, or says midday radio just isn't the same. I can imagine. God. That's almost as bad as like runny barbecue sauce. I couldn't see the Tank injury on the broadcast last week. How did it happen? I don't think he had the ball in that play. Branham brought it up. Branham, voice of the Cougs, one of the voices of the Cougs in ESPN radio out here. Quote ESPN radio, not really ESPN, kind of just leased out the ESPN, but 97.5. He said he ran into a camera. And it was clearly his ribs after the game. There were a lot of media types that were out there saying that he was holding his rib and appeared to be in pain, but there's talk that maybe he ran into a camera, or maybe it was the play after that. But if you go back and watch, I think he had a catch when it was 24-7 maybe, and he might have run into a camera. And then there were a couple plays after that, and you can kind of see him getting like more and more uncomfortable. But that's what it sounds like. Not quite sure though. Don't have like the specific play. How much of a impact do you see Nico Autry having on the defense? I think he's going to have a really big impact. And I almost think like if you can hold down the fort, and let's say you can go 4-2 through the first 6, then it's almost like, I don't want to say like a blessing in disguise, but it's almost like a kind of a kick in the ass, like a good kick in the ass, like a trade deadline type of acquisition to bring him in, because you're going to have a fresh body and you're going to get to rotate more guys on the D line. I don't know where Kurt Hinish fits into this squad. I don't know if he does or not. If there's like, is Kurt Hinish guaranteed to be active? Don't know. But I think that it's nice, the Autry. And if you go 4-2, like if you can win this game and then you can split Buffalo, and then after that and get Autry back, I think it could almost be like a blessing in disguise that he's coming back fresh. And it's just another element that nobody knows anything about. So I think that would be very interesting to see. Can't wait for Christian Harris to come back. You might have to wait a little bit longer than you think. Look, I would be shocked if he played next Sunday. I would be very, very surprised. If it happens, then cool. But I like to bet every once in a while. I would not bet on Christian Harris being back next Sunday. That's just me. I could be wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say he's leaning towards a direction. I'm not going to say that. I would just say that I'll just say this, and you can take it for what you want. I would be really surprised. But we will see what happens with Christian Harris and how that goes. The good news is he'll be able to be activated after this game. I just me, would not bet on it. That's just me. I've made some bad bets though before, so don't tell me. Just wanted to stop by and say Bobby Slowick sucks and he's holding the offense back. Okay. Does seem like Bobby Slowick's getting a little bit of heat. I don't have like a strong criticism of Bobby Slowick. Settle look good. I agree with that. Hope we beat the Bills. Got to beat the Jags first. Not being like a football hardo, but gotta figure that out first, and then we'll see how that goes. But no Jimmy Ward. That's going to mean more Kalen Bullock, which I think a lot of people are excited for. No Tank Dell. I think that's going to mean more a lot of Joe Mixon. How much do you rely on him? Are they going to be able to run the ball? It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, Christian Harris has had problems staying on the field. He didn't stay on the field his rookie season. I don't know if he misses. I guess you can say every year. I mean, it's his third year in the league, so I guess you can technically say that he didn't miss half the season last year, though. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's been a little bit frustrating. Texans should win this game by 10 to 17 points if they are who they say they are. I don't know. Should they or not? They're a 5.5 point favorite right now. If you go to Bet US, I think it's at 5.5. Let's check. Let's go Bet US, and I actually won today. I swung for the fence, but I took the over in the Miami Virginia Tech game. Then I took Virginia Tech with half the winnings. I bet 110. And then I bet 60 on the second half. I lost that, but so I ended up winning. Let's pull up the Bet US, and I am going to impulsively make a bet right now on the Texans game. So we're up to 15-19, but we got 300 in props. So we're down 181 for the year, in large part because of that Minnesota. Let's go to this Texans odds. See what we got here at Bet US. Let's pull this up. Week 4 game and first half. Let's display the selected. And you can get in the game. You can get 150% bonus. And they're not even sponsoring this. This is just me gambling. You just use the promo code YouTube 150, 150% bonus up to 2,000, and then 25 after that. So let's see what we got here. We got minus 5.5. I don't know. That just looks kind of fishy to me. The fact that it went down, and quite frankly, coming off the assing in Minnesota, I don't know that I want to bet on the Texans minus 5.5. I don't know that they deserve that. Now, I will say this. I think if they lose this game, it's not going to be because they can't score. I don't think Jacksonville is going to shut them out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Texans point total over 24.5. We're actually going to do the math to get up to an even 17 hunt. Although I'll probably bet a little bit more on college tomorrow. Oh, 236. That is a lot of money. Do I want to do 236 over 24.5? Let's go 175. God, that's a lot to win 134. Am I going to do this? Yes, I am. And you can do the same. You can get in. So we're going over 24.5 for the Texans point total. So we need 25 points. Did I just make a dumb bet or not? That is the question. Did I just make a dumb bet or not? Can this offense score 25 points? Who knows? We will see. If not, going to be a crawl up unless I do good in college football tomorrow, which, hey, we'll see. You can get in the game at Bet US and check that out. Philly asking a question about uniforms. They're going to have the deep steel blueies tomorrow. Why would the Texans premiere their new H-Town uniforms against the Bills in a potential loss? Should you premiere your uniforms in games that you know you will win for a fact? Why? Don't you want to premiere them in like more marquee games? So based on that line of thinking, and by the way, it's kind of a gutless line of thinking if we're really saying it. Based on that line of thinking, though, if you have that type of mindset, then you just think like if a team's like, let's say that a team is in prime time against a good opponent, you just don't debut your uniforms. You just want to wait for when you face a crappy opponent. I don't know about that, my friend. I think that's a little bit crazy. Do you even care? Like, do you remember, like, when did the Texans debut these uniforms? Did they win? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's a mindset for sure. Jarrell says he's better ready for the Battle Reds. Be interesting to see what those look like on the TV screen. But yeah, you never think you'll lose a game. I've thought that I'll lose a game, but I don't think the Texans are thinking like that at all. Not even a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the Texans. It's been a fun week. It's been an interesting week. We're going to get to see Joe Mixon on the field. No Jimmy Ward. Hopefully we're talking about a dub. Tomorrow we might do a follow the money live amidst college football. That might pop up. Just be on the lookout for that. Probably around 11 or noon. I'm going to eat some breakfast at the diner tomorrow. My favorite diner. Little chicken fajita omelet. Never hurt anyone. And then my boy's actually calling the Cougs game against Iowa State. So shout out to Ted. Actually going to go with Stutes and eat with him. So we'll see what goes on there. Jason says, Landry, you should have went harder on LT when pressed about ref comments, #accountability. What would you have recommended? I asked him to clarify his comments about the refs screwing him over and stuff. Like, what would you have recommended? Like, what do you want? What would you have recommended? I could have just asked him about Cam Akers. The first question was about O-line dinners. There was a question about the fans don't know what they're talking about. How hard is it to block out outside noise? Stutes asked about if you got it fixed. Alexander asked a question, and then I asked him to clarify his comments. All the while, someone's trying to throw a Cam Akers question his way. So tell me what exactly you would have done in that situation. I would love to know, Jason, with the J logo. I mean, it's no one else was bringing up the comments that he brought up. What did you want? I would love to know that for sure. And the heat will only get turned up, but I don't know what sometimes people say, you got to go out there. Look, I do think there are some questions that are softer than others. The thing went viral. I asked him to elaborate. That's really all I can do, especially when he's going right to the Cam Akers, or it wasn't a Cam Akers question. It was a Joe Mixon question. So yeah, I don't know what you wanted there, Jason, but yeah, I'll try to do better next time. Me amigo. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to ride along. And most importantly, if you're at the Texans game, let me know. Hit me up at Landry Locker. I'll be parking lot pimping before I go up to the suite. The post game show probably start like an hour and a half after the game, just because I'm going to be at the game, and we got you covered for sure. Myself and Cody Stutes, reaction Monday at 8. Tomorrow, be on the lookout. Let's follow some money. Let's win some money for sure. Landry, you should have asked, being 6'6", where he got pants that sit right above the ankle. Yeah, I'm 6'6" too. I'd like some joggers, man. He's probably got them customized. Is your favorite diner in Shepherd in the Heights? I know the spot. Nah, I don't think so. But I'm all for a good diner recommendation. Being a captain, do you think your comment showed accountability to the team for your play? Being a captain, do you think your comment showed accountability for the team for your play? Okay. Maybe I should have put that ahead of clarify your comments on the refs being out to get you. There you go. Thank you very much. Journalism lessons with Jason. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to ride along. It is all love, no doubt. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Have a wonderful effing weekend. And before we know it, it'll be a chance to kill the Jags and bury them and bury Doug Peterson and bury Trevor Lawrence. And by the way, I'm going to pull this. I'm pulling back the curtain big time here. So I actually have already done this, and this might be a jinx. Y'all are going to call me a jinx. I know how y'all are. Y'all are going to call me a jinx for this. But you know what? I don't believe in jinxes at all. I've already gotten the SNL thumbnail started, the background, and there is a tombstone with Doug and Trevor right there. Just need to get the picture right there. So maybe I'm jinxing it. Who knows? But you know what? If you believe in jinx D's. These nuts. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Can't believe I made that bet. Texans better at least score 25 if they lose. Have a wonderful weekend. I am on to the weekend lettuce. Holla.
Localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days. Opinions to give. We got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source.